We were trying to get all of this going at one time, so met with our facilitators yesterday and then sent out the meeting times. And that doorbell you hear is just other families logging in. So part of our local security is that only Leicester emails are allowed in to Google Meets without me allowing them in as the creator. So if you hear that or see me stop for a second and read, I'm seeing who's coming in. The other thing, people are flying in. All right. So as we continue to move through, I have some of the questions that you submitted last night, so I'll go through some of those. But at the same point, you came on today for a reason, and I want to make sure your questions are answered as well. If you have concerns, if you have things that you want to make sure you left with, I wanted to give you that information as well. So as we get moving, for those of you who I have not met yet or haven't had a chance to connect with in some capacity, maybe you saw me on school committee or you watched the video that sent out about the program. My name is Matthew Joseph. I am the Director of Instruction, Director of Curriculum and Assessment as well here in Leicester Public Schools. This is my second year here. And as part of moving forward with our virtual pathway for some of our learners, I wanted to connect with families to give more information as we learn and as we find out as much as we can. So the purpose of today. All right, hold on one second. So the purpose of today is going to be just get you as much information as we have. And anything we have, I want to share with you. We are still in the process of registering all of our students, getting our facilitators signed up, and getting your learning pathways all set for you to start the week of the 24th. We don't have the specific date yet, but I know my training and Mr. Berthew's training, who's doing the technology uploading and creating classes, we are being trained on Monday. And then our teachers, our facilitators, I should say, are being trained on the 22nd and 25th as well. And so one of the things is to talk and go through your questions and processes. The second is to introduce you to Miss Knight. So Miss Knight is with us. She is one of our elementary educators. She is going to be your personal liaison for this learning platform. So with questions, concerns, she will be your point person as you move through the curriculum, as you move through the pathway. So I want to make sure to first have all of our learners at home, if you haven't had a chance yet, to meet Miss Knight. So Miss Knight, thanks for joining us.
Well, thanks for having me. Yes, my name is Barbara Knight. I'm teaching in grade 3 right now. I've been with the Leicester Public Schools for 14 years. Before 3rd grade, I was a reading teacher, and I'm here if you need me.
So we the way we broke up our clusters in Leicester was that we have a kindergarten through 2nd grade cluster, which I met with this morning, and some of you were there. We have a 3rd and 4th grade cluster, which you all are a part of. And for that cluster, we have a facilitator that is Miss Knight. Each one of our groups has a specific facilitator that will be your point person. So if you have questions about curriculum or work or anything with the program, Miss Knight will be who you reach out to, who you contact, and she will be sending out your email. We're going to be sending out things to all of you very, very soon, but she will be the point person for all of you. If you have a question about the program or logging in from virtual school, you'd start with them, but again, Miss Knight will be your contact person. And if you have a hardware concern, meaning something's wrong with your Chromebook, then you would contact us. You can email me or Mr. Berthew if you have an actual hardware question. Besides that, everything else will run through Miss Knight. So I said we're going to be sending out our information. So next week, on Monday morning, you'll receive an email with information about Miss Knight, who's going to be the facilitator, and you will receive information about work for your learners, because yes, our in-person students started today, but your learning pathway does not start till the week of the 24th. because we are uploading your classes, we're getting you all set up. Because one of the things that you have to start to think about is that your learning pathway is not on the same calendar as Leicester Public Schools. Your learning pathway is almost a completion pathway, that you're going to get a set amount of assignments and work and tasks to complete, and you're on a completion pathway versus however many days it takes you to finish that, like coming to school, 45 minutes of ELA, 45 minutes of math, 45 minutes, whatever it is. It's going to look a little different. So starting later than the in-person students does not impact your students' ability to complete their coursework for the Florida Virtual School. So I have no problem going through reading the questions. It could be a little dry, but if you have things that are pressing for you right now on your mind, I'd love to dive into those, so you're not getting information that either you already know or don't need.
Hi, Matt Joseph.
Hey, Ben.
Hi, my name is Ben Jasker. My daughter's in third grade right now, or going to be in third grade. And the main thing for us was getting the proper emails, and everything else is like right now, like I got this email for this meeting, but I haven't received anything else. And my wife's been getting sporadic emails as well. I was just kind of curious, like how you guys are getting your lists and sending them out.
Okay, so good question and good way to jump off. So this will be one of the first emails you got directly regarding this program from us, because we just had the finalized list. We just got the facilitators put together, and I essentially took the emails from the list that Mr. Berthium sent me from the registration you all signed up on. So sent that out. Moving forward, you'll be receiving emails from a small sample size of people, either Miss Knight, myself, Mr. Berthium, or from Florida Virtual School. Those 4 will be the main email chains to you. Now, that being said, you will also be receiving district or school emails because you're still part of the district. So those emails will be general about the district, not necessarily about the Leicester Elementary School. Even if they come from Leicester Elementary School, we want to make sure that you still have that information, because one of the big discussions is that the students who attend this pathway feel that they're not part of the district. So to make sure you still have information about what's happening.
Okay. And how can we verify that she's properly registered?
So if you're on this call, we have your email from the registration that you sent us. So with that, we've been meeting with the schools to get her core classes, the ELA, math, science, and social studies, and then we're looking at the special subjects, and we are taking care of the registration on this side. So you wouldn't have been emailed from me if she wasn't part of the cohort of students registered.
Okay.
Because I'm not going to share the screen because it has everybody on it. I literally just went down the list of everybody's emails and copy and pasted it into the blind copy. So if you got this, she's on the list of being registered.
All right, perfect. Awesome. All right, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Other pressing things before, I'm happy to, again, go through the questions you have, but I want to make sure. Gigi, you unmuted. Did you have a question?
Yes, hi.
Hi.
My name is Stacy. Gigi's my daughter. She's a 4th grader. So
okay.
I was wondering if one of your maybe goals as a district would be to create a platform where we can communicate with other local families participating in the remote cohort. I think it would be awesome in terms of socialization, just to have that connection with local people. And as our kids navigate and we navigate doing this from home, it would give us a platform to help each other.
So when you mean local, do you mean like surrounding towns or Leicester?
No, I mean Leicester families.
Okay.
Is there a platform already or somewhere where we can connect with each other? I know for privacy reasons, you can't just say this is the list, but it would be helpful.
Yeah, so one of the things we literally yesterday at, I think it was 1:30, Barbara, was when we first met as a group of educators and with me. And one of the things that we talked about is having a weekly check-in as a group. And also having individual check-in times, because it's going to be a very personalized pathway, because each one of the learners is going to be at a different place depending on how you schedule your week and how you schedule the learning piece. So we are going to try to make it where it's a personalized approach to connecting, but also having time to connect. Maybe not like this is third and fourth. It may be a much more third grade group, fourth grade group, and maybe once a month as a full group. As you said, you won't be able to get the full list because of HIPAA violations and things like that, but you see who's here, and at that point, we can start to do that. And that'll go through Miss Knight as you start to work through. Maybe it's something that you all work out, or you find a way to do that, or start a support something or other. Like, we don't have anything now because we've never gone down this road and we don't know what we'll need, but we also aren't going to make it, looking at the list, 35 different pathways. Like, we are going to try to ensure that there's both times.
Great, thank you. And I think too, I don't know about other families, but I'm more than open to signing a release of information, just like when we walk in a classroom and sign up for, everybody to communicate in that classroom. I think that would be great going forward.
Yeah, and I think, and I don't know this because I haven't, like I said, Monday I'm going in to see the actual platform. There may be something in the virtual school dashboard that has a discussion board or has a way to communicate. I just don't know right now.
Okay, thank you.
Which lends me to what your learners will see is you will have a login. You'll have credentials that you and your student, your learner at home, will log in each day or whenever you're doing the work, and they will have their options, almost like a digital filing cabinet of sorts. They will go in, they will see their learning, their platform. You're going to work with Miss Knight on some milestones of when we should have this much done by this date, this much done by this date. It's not set in stone as far as assignments due date, like they'd come to school and say, this paper's due in 2 days. You're going to be working out a much more personalized approach to completing all the coursework. And we're going to see that dashboard very soon. And then the facilitators will see the dashboard, and then we'll share it with all of you with your login and your credentials. And then you'll go in and see the dashboard as well. We're going to meet next week again at this time for this group, so that we'll have more information at that point. So I'll be taking, my session, my training on the 14th. So I'll have more information for next Thursday and Friday.
I just have a quick question. Hi.
Hi, Jane.
I'm Jane. My
Jane.
daughter's Rosalind, and I love what you were saying about maybe an online platform for kids, something like that they can get into. I just had a question. So if anything else we should do in the meantime before this, I guess you said next Thursday at 1 o'clock, if like anything they can get started on. I also just noticed the login for, I think, Epic is saying we're not able to access it. So she kind of couldn't go in and check out anything yet. I didn't know if you had started it up yet, or if there's anything else they should be doing.
Well, let me talk about the Epic piece first. So she probably is not part of any class that's in Epic because, one, we haven't supported that as a district. That was very individual teacher choice. So it may just be that the teacher she had last year didn't register her again this year. I don't know about that piece at all. As far as what can you do between then now, so on the email that's going to come out Monday, we're going to be, Ms. Knight's creating some activities for all the learners at home. It'll be part of creating a get to know you. It'll be part of doing some different activities so that next week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, your students will have some work to do to practice how that looks asynchronously. And then we're going to check in next Thursday to see how that went.
Okay, sorry. So the email on Monday will kind of explain some stuff they can start doing Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Yeah, so Monday morning you'll receive it, and it's going to be a Google Doc with links to other, it'll be a get to know you, get to know Mrs. Knight, and then 4 other activities that kids can work on over the 3 days.
All right, thank you. Oh, okay, that answered that. Thank you.
Hi, this is Melissa DeGette. Zoe is my
Hello.
daughter, fourth grade. I just wanted to add to the earlier question about like a platform for parents to connect. If you haven't joined the Parents of Remote Learning Facebook group, that is available and a place where parents can connect with each other. And that group has also set up some Google Meets by grade level for like a lunchtime meet for students to see each other. So
No, I think that. Oh, sorry. I thought you were done.
nope, that's all I have. I just wanted to make people aware that it was there. If they haven't joined it yet, that they could search.
Great.
Yeah, I think again, I'm not a member of that group, but what I have heard from some members, it is a very collaborative space. And Melissa, I don't know if you have the link. If you could pop that in the chat, if people wanted to go on, or what the actual name of it is.
Sure.
If not, no big deal. But that is a place that is a collaborative space that was set up by some families who are part of the remote cohort. Maybe not necessarily in this group, but in one of the groups, and it is a place where they've been meeting, and is a place to share information, and it's a good place to connect. The other thing is, Miss Knight, can you put your email in the chat as well? And I will. You have mine from when I send it to you, but you can have my. Here's my address if you. And I think I'm glad you brought that up, Melissa, because I think that is a good social place to connect with families, because a lot of our meetings will be much more focused on the learning pathways where we met. There won't be as many of the social pieces through the school. So a couple questions just from the survey last night. If your child is if they are struggling or having some concerns, Miss Knight will be the contact person. She is assigned to this group of learners, the 2 grade levels. She is not in school. She's not teaching a class and doing this on the side. This is her role this year as an educator. So she will be the person that you're going to be communicating with 90% of the time. What she won't be doing, just because I'm going down the list of questions, is she will not be delivering services that are on any student IEP. So if you have a child that has a service grid, we will be having our special education teachers checking in and working with Ms. Smith to assure that those students' grids are being worked through. Like Ms. Knight's not going to do speech therapy or different things. We have some programs set up to ensure that your students get the approved services. Ms. Knight will be the one that, if you have questions about assignments or due dates, or tripped up about where do I submit something, she is that person for you. And at this point, we don't have all those answers because we haven't even seen the program, but she will be the person to do that. Somebody asked, I saw it real quick, school supplies. There is no shopping list for school supplies because I don't know what you would need right now. It will not be like a traditional, supply list you might see online for a classroom. And those I don't think are happening this year with the constraints that we have. I think for now, having your Chromebook, and then once we log in and see what the requirements are for to complete the content, we'll know more at that point. Well, all great. Yes. So if you have, I met with the remote facilitators yesterday, and we are going to send out something Monday morning once we meet with all 5 groups. Then that will be assignments. It'll look differently. Our K2 learners assignments are going to look a little bit differently than our high school assignments, but all grade levels will have some projects to work on next week for 3 days or 4 days if you're in the Friday meeting group. They will not be graded in the sense that they are something that will count towards the Florida Virtual School, but we also wanted to model what asynchronous learning would look like for your students. You're going to get a Google document, and in that document we'll have the assignments where your learners at home would go in, click the assignments, and complete them. So we're trying to mirror the experience without actually opening up the Florida virtual program.
I got a quick question for you, Mr. Joseph.
You got it.
Hey, so I have two children. One of them is in third, the other one's in fourth. They're both on IEPs, and from my understanding, I received emails that they were supposed to be online today, and they gave us a set schedule already in books and everything. But because we're technically considered like D for online only, my kids can't get into anything they're supposed to be doing.
So who sent you a schedule for today?
So I have through Miss Egdahl for the IEP, and then the other one is Miss Egdahl is doing the IEP for my son, and then give me 1 second.
And they sent you a schedule for today?
So I'm already, my question, and I think that's what Benjamin was having the confusion with, is for some reason my kids are both registered to do the Class D online 5 days a week. But because they're on IEPs and the school already started, we're supposed to be already logging in online and communicating.
Oh, so like their Google Classroom and things like that? Yeah, hold on, let me just grab Pam for a second. I don't think they can't be doing the Google Classroom assignments that the special educator is assigning before they even start their schools.
And that's the only reason why I came on to look.
That's a great question. Hold on 1 second.
I'm on an email list for some reason.
I didn't want to just yell in everybody's ear. So I'm gonna find out what was communicated to the special education staff, but it is my understanding, and I know Jeff is here with me, and you can hear that they're not doing Google Classroom for. Oh, here comes Pam. Hold on, I'm gonna take it off a microphone. Christian, can you say something? See if it comes through the speakers.
You can hear me? Yep.
Oh no.
So it was Mrs. Susan Durant and Mrs. Egdahl. They're already running their side because you know how it's A, B, and then D.
Yes.
So because my kids are on an IEP and they need the services that they need, the Class D doesn't start for like till the 24th you mentioned, but Leicester Public Schools already having us like going to Google Meets and communicating with them.
Yeah, let me check. Pam, Miss Smith is with me right now. So the question is, and sorry, I have this set up so it's coming through here.
Okay.
So the question is, some of the kids who receive IEP services are getting messages from the special education teachers to be going to Google Classroom for the special education teachers, join meets and complete work. Is that accurate?
But they don't have a curriculum. They're having
they don't have a curriculum, but they're asking them to do work.
No, not to do work. From my
Meet their
understanding,
IEP services?
To meet their IEP services?
correct. So
Yeah.
like today we had like my son is scheduled from 10 o'clock to 11 and then from 1 o'clock till 2 o'clock. And they're pretty much just having us log in.
I don't understand.
There is no curriculum.
All right, can you repeat that?
So what they're having us do is they're having us log in through Google Meets, each children through their Chromebooks, but they don't have a curriculum. Like there's some sort of confusion between the people who are doing the 5-day, 100% online to the people who are doing the 1-day A or B. And for some reason, we're put in the crack of that. So
No,
I'm sorry.
that's okay. We're obligated to provide services for all kids on IEP, so you should have received something called a special education learning plan. It says COVID-19 up at the top. Okay. So all parents are receiving that no matter what cohort their child is in. And for the kids that are in cohort D, we will still be providing services for them. So when their curriculum does start up on September 24th, they can support them if they need help
Okay.
with
Now,
some other things. Yep.
Because I did receive both of the COVID-19 IEP platforms that they're giving for both children.
Okay.
But my question was, how are we going to be doing anything if the curriculum from Florida hasn't been set in stone yet?
Right. So they're just so for the next couple of weeks, what they'll do is they'll just check in with the kids, see how they're doing. And then when the Florida virtual school curriculum starts up, they'll be able to help them with some questions or things that they might need help with.
So my question is, would I have to contact like Miss Egdahl or Mrs. Dorenzo, or should I contact Miss Barbara Knight?
Meaning to do the work in the next 2 weeks?
I mean,
Or
like,
just, you know.
like, I can make my kids do it, but if there isn't a curriculum, there's really nothing they can do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they don't need to do it, I wouldn't think.
No, not in the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, the next 2 weeks, they wouldn't have to do what they're doing is in the school. So they're
Because
sending
I believe that the kids who are set up for D who have an IEP are still getting placed in with the A and Bs. You see what I'm saying to you? That's the
Yeah, yes, they are. They're still going to receive their services. So if their IEP calls for speech and language services, they might be in a group with kids who are in the A or B cohort to receive those services.
okay, perfect.
Or-
So just
yeah.
continue doing
I'm sorry, what?
it? So continue doing it. I'm sorry.
Yes, so if they have services, whatever the learning plan says that was sent to you, those things have been set up so that your children can still receive services. And so they might be with an A or a B group of kids doing that because they're going to have a group of kids at the same time.
All right, thank you.
So
You're
I
welcome.
think, and I think what you heard, just because I'm going to have to do this 3 more times, if they have specialized services like speech or physical therapy or something that they're doing now, they need to participate in that. But if they're doing like schoolwork support, they're waiting to the 24th to do the schoolwork support.
Yes, yeah. They can't help them with the curriculum if they don't have any curriculum yet.
That's pretty much where we were today because the teachers were like, okay, you guys made it online, but we don't really have anything to do. So we'll see you at 11 o'clock. We'll check in.
Yeah,
That's
right. Yeah, and that's exactly what's going to happen until they have curriculum to look at. Absolutely. Okay.
Thank you. I appreciate you answering the question.
No problem.
Thanks.
Okay, you're welcome.
All right. Can you hear me again? All right, just because I plugged in some different things. All right, so no, that's what we're doing here, trying to figure that out. So if you have some specialized support, then you might be receiving information from the specialized liaison as well. But as far as doing anything they assign that's not a specialized like programmatic thing like speech therapy, they won't start their actual curriculum work till the week of the 24th.
Perfect. Thank you so much for answering that.
You're welcome. Thanks for sticking with us as you can see, we're doing this at the same time as we're trying to learn it. So we're getting there. All right. Other questions that you have, pressing questions, or I can continue to just read from our list? All right. All right. Well, there'll be parent walkthroughs. So what will happen is once we get trained, Miss Knight will be working with you either in a full meet like this, a small meet, or individual that they will walk you through the program. It asks about videos. There will be some startup, how to log on. There'll be some support that you'll get that you can watch from home as well. Another question that comes up a lot is if Lester, because of health concern, goes to full remote. That is a different program than the online virtual academy. So if Lester goes to full remote, it's essentially the in-person kids having a full remote schedule. So they would log on 5 days a week and follow the synchronous schedule that they would be if they were in school. Where the virtual program is you are setting your own schedule for completing the curriculum.
That brings up a question as
Hi, Jane.
Jane Campion. If you are in this now and say you go to fully remote, are you able to
I'm sorry, what was the second half of that?
how would that kind of transition? I guess you can't plan this out, but if you were in halfway through the school year and you are now going fully remote for everybody, how, I guess, would we plan for that with work schedules and everything?
Well, you actually wouldn't be part of that because your program is a separate program. You're working off the virtual curriculum where if you were an in-person student, it would go from in-person to virtual and maybe back to in-person if it was just a short health scare or a longer health scare. That they are two different pathways for learning. The only way that you would rejoin the current in-person education, if they go fully remote, is withdrawing from the Florida Virtual Academy.
Okay, so you can at least stay on this and know we're going to stay on it for whatever until.
Yeah, the first semester ends sometime in January, I think. We'll get those
Okay.
specific dates.
All right, thank you.
So it was my understanding we were only committing for a trimester because the elementary school's on a trimester schedule. Is that true or?
Well, you're committing as long as you're seeing this as a value to you. We had asked that you, if you commit, to commit at minimum for that long, just to see if you liked it or not. There's no withdrawal date, or it ends here and you transition back to Leicester in-person model.
Right. I understand that there's not like an end date to this, and we could be in it for the entirety of the year if we choose that.
Yes.
But yeah, I just wanted to be clear that if at the end of the first trimester we are not happy, we do have the option to switch at that point.
Absolutely. 100%. If
Thank
you're
you.
just miserable and it's not a good match and you feel for whatever reason you chose this, that either health scare or family decision is coming back, absolutely. That transition back it wouldn't be immediate either, because we'd have to transition out and in. So it would be a time to find a placement. We'd have to see which third grade class had the fewest amount of students. It would be getting everything matched up. And it would almost be like moving from a different town back, in the sense that we would have your learner enter and start right where the in-class model is starting. Because it's not a one-to-one correlation that the Florida Virtual is following the same exact instructional calendar as the in-person educator. So the question is about RTI services. So it depends on what the RTI service was. If it was a culture in the elementary school that students receive their paw bucks for doing well, or other RTI cultural pieces, then that would not be continued. If they are receiving support as part of their IEP, then that would be continued.
Hi, I'm sorry. I asked that question.
Oh, hi.
Sorry.
You don't have to be sorry.
I'm confused because I know that my daughter in particular, she's in third grade. She was pulled out for RTI services twice a day usually. So I'm just confused if that's going to be an option to be available online, or if it's just IEP services. Okay,
so again, our education field is amazing. We use acronyms for everything. So where I was thinking RTI is response to intervention is more if there was a behavioral concern, or if there was different things like that. What sounds like was happening was that they were getting additional reading support or additional support from our intervention team. And that support does not parallel with the Florida Virtual School. If it's something that they need or are struggling with, you contact Miss Knight and she would try to support that, but they wouldn't have the weekly intervention schedule that they did last year.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. That also is for not just educationally. If I know sometimes we have support groups for emotional needs, or we have other groups that they go to the counselors or different pieces. That is also not part of the curriculum here, unless it's part of the IEP services or 504 services. Other pressing questions? Like I said, I'll just go through this. I know you mentioned one. Yes, so it's not, they don't advance grade levels. Even if they finish, if you push them and they finish all their work by February, it's not something where we then advance them into the 5th grade program. They this year, whatever grade they're in, 3rd or 4th, they're working to complete that year's content to move into the next grade the following year. So no extra work. So if they finish in May, Miss Knight and I are not going to sit around and say, what else can we give them? And we make up stuff for you. Like when you're done with the program and you've earned the credits to complete it. What will happen is they will receive a grade, and Miss Knight will transfer the grade into the Power School so that the students will enter that and have that on the record. If you want to take vacation, have at it. And vacation, yes. And let's say the schedule is going to look a little bit different, where we're going to find out what the attendance piece of it is, but your schedule is not going to look like the school schedule, where if your kids if you want to get some of the assignment done on Saturday, they're more than welcome to get some of the work done on Saturdays. Or if it's a Monday holiday, they can get some work done on that day. Jane, you had a question. And then I cut you off.
Yeah,
I
sorry,
think I had a couple in the chat.
No, oh, well, actually, my daughter is on I believe a 504 plan. Is there any chance we could get like more individualized email sent to, I don't know if the kids have an email account. I feel like I'm glad I caught this email today or the other day and made sure. But if there was anything on their Chromebook that they could open up and say, oh, this is what I'm doing, so that they can feel more, I feel like, in control of that, where I feel like I thought this was a meeting for her today, honestly. So I had her all ready and she's like, this isn't for me. So I just didn't know if there's anything for them that they can engage with to know more about that plan at all.
Sure. Once we see what the program is, they're going to set up their calendar online so that they can be more self-sufficient, where you will see the learning milestones that they could do, or they can work through it all. And I know that'll be something you work maybe individually with Miss Knight to say, how can I set this week up for my daughter? What's a reasonable expectation for them? And then maybe you meet Monday morning at 8 as a twosome, and then you put that into place for the week.
All right, so the Power School will kind of more so reflect our schedules after. Is that what you were saying? Or?
No, Power School will not be your schedule at all, actually.
It'll be a different kind of platform.
Your schedule will be wake up and do work is essentially how if your child likes science, maybe they do 3 science things in one day. And then the next day, maybe they do 1 ELA, 1 math. Like, you're going to set the schedule, and that's definitely something you're going to work through with Miss Knight of what fits best for your child. But it is definitely not going to be 8 o'clock ELA, because I know the elementary has a schedule of, ELA, math, specials, lunch, social studies. It's not, you set the schedule for your learner.
Okay, that answers that. Thank you.
So a couple in here. Is the school prepared if every single kid opts back in? Yes, we are. We actually, one of the big things that we did is ensure that the schedule we created fit all 3 models. Meaning, if we were fully remote, if we were hybrid, 50-50, half, some students come one day, some the next, and full return. So we do have contingencies for all. If all 274 people say we're done, we would fit them back in. As far as attendance, I'm not exactly sure how it's going to be reported at this time. We're going to find out more on the 14th. So if students struggle and they can't complete it, that's when you would reach out to Miss Knight, and she would help you either with support. She is a certified teacher. She teaches elementary school. She actually teaches taught last year one of the 2 grades that is this cohort. So she will be the person who will support through that. That being said, it's not an online tutor where you spend 6 hours with Miss Knight. Like, she would obviously support you, but there'd have to be a healthy balance because someone asked when do they log into their Zoom? Like, there's no Zoom classrooms. There's no Meet, or there's no meeting the other, having a class online. It's very personalized and individual. If they're working in the summer, they'd have to finish it before whatever the deadline is to complete the school year. I don't know what that deadline is. It could be June 30th but I don't know that. But there will be a completion date that it has to be done by. And I don't know what that date is. There would not be any additional supports beyond what we would produce in the summer. And if summer school is needed, my recommendation is that if they have all the work done before summer school starts, they'd be identified. Typically, summer school is for our students on IEPs. So I tried to get through. There's a lot of part. All right. Other questions? I know there's a lot going on right now, so I'm trying to hear you. So there's about the 2 weeks. We're going to get that information for the 2 weeks. Oh, and now there's a lawnmower going on outside. Awesome. So there was nothing else on this sheet from our 3-4 group. So I didn't know if you had other things that were pressing on your minds. So mark your calendars for next week. We're going to meet again. So the next steps for all of you, just so that you know, is that on Monday morning, you'll receive an email from Miss Knight. There'll be work in there for students to complete, and then we'll meet again next Thursday at 1 o'clock. Any last questions, thoughts, concerns? And if you do, or if you aren't comfortable in this large group, email me and I will connect with you individually.
Great. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Well, thank you. I hope everyone has a great rest of the day. And if any of you have middle or high schoolers, I'll see you tomorrow. Melissa, you're unmuted.
Just saying thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Well, thank you. And Barb, we're going to rejoin at 2. And we're going to just connect. I'm going to just make sure everyone's out, kind of reset, and then you and myself and Caitlin will jump back on.
Would you mind? Thank you. I appreciate it.
Sounds great. Thank you.
All right, I'm going to stop the recording and do all that too.